Nathan and Trevor, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for joining us. Before we start talking about tonight's Bailey episode, how are you both? What have you both been up to?
I don't know about Nathan, but there ain't much to get up to, really. We're doing the nation thing and doing the isolation thing, and we're all getting really hairy. I've just noticed we're all really, really hairy. So we're not going to the barbers.
No hairdressers.
No, Nate.
Nathan normally is fresh
trim,
clean shaven.
People might even recognise you after tonight's episode.
Well, I seen one the other day and I was like, whoa, is that what I look like? I was like, wow, I look real different. My sister, she did have a baby, so
congratulations.
So I'm now an uncle.
Uncle Nathan, first time?
Yeah. First time.
Right.
Yeah. Helping out with that, so I guess that's been something to keep us.
As long as she got through it happy and healthy, though, in this climate.
Yeah, that's
really
it. Yeah.
Good news.
How are you, Colson?
I'm all right. I'm sound. I've got this keeping me busy. Got a few things. I'm happy.
Good.
I'm ready to go back to work, though. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
So obviously, Coronation Street doesn't shy away from doing topical storylines and challenging topics. Tonight, we've seen, obviously, the homophobic storyline and we've seen the racism storyline all come to a head. Just talk to us a little bit about how powerful these storylines are and what they're like to film.
When you see the reaction and people wanting to talk to you about the storyline, then it's like, well, it must be. It's big in the sense that it's creating conversation and people want to talk about it and discuss it. And I think that's the main thing that you want from doing the storyline. This is to create conversation. I think if people want to talk about it, then it's like we're all doing a good job, from the story team, the writers. It seems like we're all doing a good job, and that's all we can hope for, really.
Yeah, I mean, from what little I've read, everybody's feeling everything we hoped they would feel. I mean, there's angst, there's anger, there's sadness out there. It's a tricky one. It's a massive topic, racism. And you can make the mistake of thinking it just boils down to calling names. Calling names is calling names. That's always going to happen. It doesn't actually matter what the name is. But when you're talking about racism, it centers more around alienating a human being from their own country. I guess for me, it's a big subject because as Black people, we all have our scars that are from the center of the subject. We've all suffered it. And finding our usual, sort of getting into our drawer of emotions as we go on camera and try and deliver the story. It's been a bit tricky because you're getting out emotions that you spend a lot of time suppressing.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to live your whole life always aware of racism. It's just some days it's in your face. Thank goodness we have great writers that will sit down and filter a lot of what we have to say into what will become a more universal story. So thanks to them, it's a little bit easier to put everything into play the way you want to relate it to people.
Yeah, obviously tonight's episode was really powerful. You both did an amazing job on representing both storylines. I loved the scene in the Bistro. I loved the scene in the Rovers. And, I think everyone who watched it will have found, because it almost puts you there, and it that awkwardness that it makes you feel is what it should do. It just did the job perfectly. So for that, Trevor, thank you very much. I just want to say as well, so Barness Lawrence was involved in the storyline.
She was amazing, wasn't she, Nathan?
Oh yeah, an incredible woman, and for her to come up and see us and be a part of the storyline in terms of coming to offer support and help. I think it's great, and the show is just great at doing that. Like sometimes people don't see that because they only see the end product, but every storyline I feel like reach out to people, to people with real life experience to help.
The power of Corrie, isn't it? It puts it on our street and it makes it real, and everyone can kind of relate to it. So, Nathan, obviously, talking a little bit more about your side of the story. So, Ed has really struggled to come to terms with the fact that James has come out, and he's struggled with it. And at the end of this episode, we kind of see a come together, and it's such a powerful scene that in the back garden. Talk to us a little bit about how that was and how you found playing James's journey so far, sort of thing.
Well, I think the journey so far from what we've seen is that, you know, he he first came out to like Bethany, and then he told his brother, and all that was like an accepting experience. So, you know, and then there was the thing with Dan, you know, and that kind of, he thought to himself, then, you know, like, I guess if you want to be with someone, you have to kind of be out, and, you know, you can't hide yourself away. So all of it was like accepting up until the point where he tells his dad that, you know, he is out, he is gay, and then it's like a rejection phase. So it's like, how does he then deal with this? And, you know, because everybody's been so accepting and being like, oh, it's no big deal. But like within the family dynamic, like, no matter who you are, I guess you always want to be accepted by, you know, your loved ones. And for him his dad not to do that, it's just like a massive kick in the teeth.
Yeah.
And then I think that moment, it's like, that's all he's ever wanted, is for his dad to kind of accept and understand like who he is. You know, Ed sort of said to him in the past, you know, you can hide that side of yourself, but he doesn't want to do that, because ultimately, if you do that, then he's not going to be able to be himself and be completely happy. So for him to understand and, you know, like, give him that embrace and that love and support, it's just what he wants. And I think it's just a nice moment.
It does feel like that's kind of the start of the two characters building a bridge and putting it to bed, and they're just going to get back to that father-son relationship, which feels so important. Obviously, there's still a lot to come with the James storyline. He's still got a lot of people to tell. He's got to find that acceptance in himself, and it always kind of feels like it's going to have a step in the right direction with his dad accepting it, for me.
Yeah, I agree, because it's that having that support network, you know, for him to, if he does fall back, he's got a strong foundation of love and support, which is what he needs on his journey.
It's a tough question, this one, Trevor, but in the time we're going through, obviously, lockdown Britain, how important would you say the storylines that we've seen tonight are? Because, you know, people are confined, people are going through a tough time, and we're seeing this on their telly. You know, how important is that?
I think perspective's vital. Every household, I'm sure, is going to be different, but there is that claustrophobia, and there is that the way relationships and situations become magnified when you're in a tense, difficult, claustrophobic situation is something that you can lose perspective of. And coming to something like Coronation Street and seeing it as, this is not the problem in this room, but this is a problem all over the world with all of us. It's not that I have an individual problem, but actually we're all trying to get through this as best we can. As unfathomable as it might feel, I'm not alone. I think that's a very important element. And let everyone know that they're not alone in how they feel, and that there is a platform for them to think about.
Yeah, I think that is, it's the power of the show, isn't it? Corrie puts them real situations into people's living rooms through characters that they've come familiar with. Yeah. I could just sit here all day and chat to you, but we've all got other stuff to do. We've got other places to be. So, boys, thank you very much for joining me.
You're welcome.
Take it easy, and I look forward to seeing you very soon, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Well,
take care, man.
Healthy, man.
Cheers, guys.